Join the nightly conversation. America at Night with McGraw Milhaven.
Every Thursday since we started, we check in with Bill Cleveland, who is our roving reporter, and he's out there. I've got a big giant map in front of me, and I just put a pin in Carlsbad, California. That's where he was last Thursday. Bill Cleveland, Bill on the road. Where are you this week?
I got to get me one of those maps. You know, I've been doing this for 13 years. I've never done one of those little pin maps.
I love those pin maps.
I know I've thought about that. But I think it would. You know how much it would cost me in pins to go back all the places I've been lucky enough to go over all these years.
Well, you don't have you don't have a house. You don't have a wall. Where would you hang it? In your car?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I thought about that today. You know, I get magnets when I travel. Magnets and postcards. Those are my things that I collect. And I told the lady today as I'm buying this, I'm like, you realize I don't even have a refrigerator to put this on. So I don't. What am I doing with all this stuff? One day, McGraw, I'll have a refrigerator again.
I'm a magnet guy too. I love magnets, but remember back in the day, you'd get spoons from Stuckey's, or you'd get a sometimes there was a shot glass, a spoon, and sometimes you would get a window sticker and put it on the car.
Well, you know, it's funny. When I was window stickers, bumper stickers. When I was a kid and we would do road trips, I would get shot glasses, which it makes no sense because you couldn't drink out of them. And so, you know, thankfully I don't have those anymore. But shot glasses, spoons, but you know, whatever. But the magnets are usually pretty inexpensive, and I really do like postcards because they have the cool artwork and stuff on them.
Yeah. All right, good. All right, so where are you?
Ventura County, California, which is, for folks who don't know, it's outside of Los Angeles, about, depending on where you are in the LA area, between an hour, 90 minutes from Los Angeles. It's a really easy day trip, or if you're going to be in Southern California and you kind of want to get out of, I say the big city, and find a place that's maybe, a little less crowded, a little more affordable. It's a really neat area and kind of what I would call like classic California. Just the vibes, the architecture, just the restaurants, just a little more of that kind of old school California.
All right, good. So what are you doing up there? What are you seeing?
Well, the main reason that I came to Ventura County was because I'm on a quest to go to all of America's national parks. So there's 63 national parks, and Channel Islands National Park is here in Ventura County, California. So it was my 33rd national park, and it's an ordeal to get there, but not so big of a deal that it's impossible, and you can figure it out. So you have to take a ferry ride to get there. All right. So, and I guess I should back up. There's I can't remember. It's 8, 9, 10, 11 different islands that make up the Channel Islands, and you get on a ferry, and it's like an hour and a half to get to the islands. And so most people go to Santa Cruz Island. I believe that's the most popular one. That's the one I went to. So you get up early, you get on the ferry, you take it over there. Some people camp. There's no it's super primitive, man. There's no shopping. There's no there's bathrooms, but there's not really bathrooms, if you know what I mean. And so you can camp. You can do the little kayaking stuff, or what I did, I just went for the day, picked out a hike that I wanted to do, and just spent the whole day. I took my lunch with me, so I'm sitting there and I'm having my lunch after I do my hike, and I'm just looking out at this. I mean, it's beautiful. You're sitting on the edge of a cliff, and you're watching the waves crash down below, and you're looking out at the Pacific Ocean. It kind of reminded me on approach of Jurassic Park. Remember that opening scene, and they're getting close to the island, and that was kind of I didn't find any dinosaurs over there, but super cool, super cool. Totally a great, and by the way, it's the least visited, I believe, national park of all the ones that are in California. There's 8 or 9 of them here, but totally worth it.
So there's no commercial, there's no shopping, there's no. Could you buy your refrigerator magnets? No refrigerator magnets.
There's a visitor center that's on in Ventura, like on the harbor there. So yeah, of course I got a magnet, but so then you take the ferry, and once you get over there, man, that's it. Like, there's no cell phone service, there's nothing, and it's pretty neat because you're on your own, and the island's big, but it's not like so big, and the people that come over, if I had to guess, there's maybe 100 people come over on the boat each time. So maybe there's 200 people at a time, 300 tops, I would say, on the whole island. So everybody kind of goes to their little area. They do the hikes they want to do. And like, I had the place to myself for the day, and it was just very peaceful. And yeah, it was cool. It was super cool.
Yeah, all right. Channel Islands National Park. I love national parks. No one loves national parks more than I do, but this one, it's just there because it's beautiful scenery, I guess, right?
Well, and it was, there's some indigenous history to it. Native Americans lived there for thousands of years.
Okay.
And everything. So yeah, it was been a national park since 1980. And which is kind of news to me. I thought it was a newer one, but it's super cool. Don't skip it because there's some big ones out here. You got Sequoia and Yosemite and all this. Don't skip Channel Islands.
Did you get your passport stamped at the visitor center so you can tell people that you were on Channel Islands?
I just come on here and tell people instead of getting a passport. Right. No, I take a photo in front of the national park sign. That's my proof that I've been there.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
All right, Channel Islands National Park. What about these Spanish mansions you went and visited?
Well, they're missions. Yes, so the Spanish missions in California. So for people who don't know, there's 21 of these things, Spanish missions all throughout California. They were established between the late 1700s, I think like 1830, 33, something like that. And they go all the way from San Diego up to Sonoma, and they're like 30 miles apart. And basically the reason they put these things in back in the day, the Spanish wanted to convert the Native Americans to the Catholic religion, right? So they built these things. So they'd be like 30 miles apart, roughly a day's ride on horseback, and so kind of like what I like to do with the national parks, trying to go to all of them. A lot of people, especially if you live out here in California, they want to go to all the missions, and they all look a little bit different. They're, in some cases they still have, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know what the term is, but a congregation still that goes to church every, Saturday for mass or Sunday or whatever it is. And
I believe it's called the flock.
And they're beautiful.
It's called the flock.
Flock.
You mean people? You mean people who still go to mass there?
Yeah, regularly, the same people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're called humans. They're called parishioners.
Don't email me, folks. McGraw at whatever your email. Don't send them to me. But they're also really neat, and there's one of those in Ventura County as well. I'm telling you, it's like I said, it's classic California out here. It's just a really neat. It's more affordable. If you've ever been to Los Angeles, it can be pretty pricey. And so to be like just 90 minutes away from the big city like that and have, just kind of a real nice getaway.
Yeah. Now, did you pass through Thousand Oaks, or did you get through Thousand Oaks up there?
You asked me about this on the texting earlier.
Well, my aunt lives in Thousand Oaks, and she listens to the show religiously.
Oh, nice.
And she knew she was following along your path, and she sent me a text and said, if Bill wants to come over for lunch, have him swing by. And so I didn't know if you were anywhere near Thousand Oaks or not.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I never turned down a free lunch. You've been in
her.
radio as long as we have. That goes. You don't turn down a free meal from anybody. So if I do make it through Thousand Oaks on my way back down south, heading back towards Los Angeles, I'll give her a shot.
Okay. All right, good. All right, so now I thought Oxnard, which is that in then Ventura County, or you don't know?
It is. Yeah. It is. I went to Oxnard. Oxnard is part of it, and there are a few little towns. One's called Camarillo. I actually went to. I'm embarrassed to say this because I'm a guy. I don't really like to shop that much, but they have this premium outlet store, and normally that's not a big deal, but they had 160 stores. Isn't that crazy? Like usually I thought like 50 would be like they have 160 of these stores, and so it's called Camarillo Premium Outlets is there. But yes, Oxnard, which I just learned today, they host the Dallas Cowboys training camp every summer.
Yeah, and the Rams I think played there quite a bit when they were in St. Louis or whatever for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I don't really go to an outlet mall, but when it says Premium Outlet Mall, I definitely make a stop. So
you perk up a little. Yeah, different.
Premium. Yeah, the high end, the high brow. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's there.
All right.
It's there.
What's this story? You got locked out of your hotel room. Are you broadcasting from the sauna at the Holiday Inn? What's going on here?
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but so I did Channel Islands, and which is, I mentioned, an all-day thing. You're up early, you do the hiking, and you spend the whole day. And it's sunset, and you're on your way back on the boat, and it's just you're zonked out. So I get back to the hotel. On my way back to the hotel, I pick up there's a little pizza place like right up the street. I get a little personal pizza. I come in, set the pizza down, took a quick shower because I've been out all day, and put on some pajamas, and then I decide, I need some ice for my sugar-free Dr. Pepper, right? So in order to save zero point 0.5 seconds of time, I decided, that little metal latch that's on the door that once you get into your room, you kind of like block yourself in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You flip that thing. Yeah. And so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just flip that thing and then I'll shut the door behind it. It'll prop open. And then when I come back from 8 feet down the hallway, I won't have to reach into my pocket and take the car key, the key to my room. And Yeah. So, by the way, so I'm completely delirious at this point of the day. So I go down, I get the ice, I come back, and the door has locked on me. And I thought, you know what? No problem. I have the key. So I take the thing and I put it up to the door, and then I realized the metal flap had shut. So I could only open the door about an inch and a half, and I thought, oh no!
You locked yourself out of your hotel room with the latch.
Literally, yes. So I'm standing in the hallway. I'm in my pajamas. Thank God I'm in my pajamas. And I thought, oh crap. So I go down, and it's super embarrassing because the way this hotel was set up, it's you got to walk through this whole whatever. So I make it to the front desk, and I tell the girl, it's very sweet, and I said, I'm super embarrassed. I've locked myself out of the room. Well, she makes me another card, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've got the card. I can't get into the room. And she just looks at me like, what do you mean? And so I explained this to her, and thank God, there's a maintenance guy. Well, now he comes out, and I have to explain to him in my pajamas in the lobby of the hotel. And so the guy's like, we have a tool for this. And I'm like, a tool? You got a tool? That's great. He's like, but we can't find it because we're doing some renovation. So he's like, well, let me see. So he comes, we go back to the room, and he's got one of these paint scrapers. And this guy, it's 20 minutes in, and this guy is just sweating to death. I'm so embarrassed. And he finally somehow figured out how to put the paint scraper between the doorway and flip that little thing, and we finally were able to get back in. And he says to me, now in the future, and I cut him up. I'm like, no. There is no in the future. I will never touch that thing for the rest of my life. I don't care if somebody breaks in and steals all my crap. I will never touch that metal latch ever again. And
I want to know what kind of tool he's got.
Well, apparently this happened. Well, think about it. If somebody really wanted to barricade themselves in, and I'm telling you, it worked. So anybody who's ever questioned it worked. Like it was tough to get into that room, and
if
and
anybody
I've
wants
been
to
asked not to come back to that hotel. No, I'm kidding.
and if anybody wants to, lock themselves in, or in your case, lock themselves out of the room.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. But I also thought, what if I'd walked out in like boxer shorts or something, or what? Oh my God! Yeah. So anyway, could have been worse.
That's that they should call that tool the Cleveland.
And maybe they will. And the guy though, when he looked at me, and again, he's sweating, he's sweating after doing the, and when he said, "Now in the future," I said, "No problem, bro. There won't be any future. I will never touch this again." So that was my big takeaway.
If you tried to lock yourself out of the room, you couldn't have done it.
And to be honest, McGraw, I don't know how it happened. I guess I had flipped the thing just enough, and I don't know, but it was. I just thought, if you could have seen, seriously, the look on my face, and it was just like, oh no,
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Bill Cleveland locks himself out of the hotel room, and that's the highlight of his trip to Ventura County.
My apologies to the good folks of Ventura County, California, that was my big moment in their lovely area, but it is.
All right, what's on tap for next week? Are you going to go visit more of these national parks? They're all in the area, aren't they?
Yeah, I'll be doing Pinnacles National Park, which is about 3.5 hours north. I should be hitting up Monterey, and next week maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1. Lots of cool stuff to see and do.
All right, we'll find out where you lock yourself into. At least it wasn't a porta potty. At least you didn't lock yourself in a porta potty.
Oh man, don't jinx me. Don't jinx me.
Bill on the road, BillOnTheRoad.com. Bill, be safe. Thanks for checking in. Have a good week, my friend.
Okay, sounds good. See you.
You got it. BillOnTheRoad.com. How about that story? You haven't heard that often. You don't call this America at Night for nothing. Back in a moment.
America at Night with McGraw Milhaven, where the nation comes to talk.